We've reached the month of October here in our realistic Norwich City career mode, and already we are on the brink of a double-digit game unbeaten run. After a tricky start to the season, we've really managed to find our feet under new manager Johannes Thorup, and our turnaround in form culminated in a convincing 3-0 victory over Watford at Vicarage Road. With 4 games to get to in today's episode, however, we are going to have our work cut out for us if we are to extend that unbeaten run to 10 games and beyond. We'll be facing former Norwich City manager Daniel Farke in our featured game against Leeds at Elland Road, and then facing fellow promotion hopefuls Burnley just 3 days later. I'll show you highlights of that game, and we'll also be simulating games against Blackburn Rovers and Preston. Before we get into today's games though, we have finalised our custom objectives for this season. In episode 1, I asked for your suggestions for a financial, domestic success and fan experience objective, as well as some rewards and punishments for either succeeding or failing in those areas. Just as a reminder, we need to promote 2 youth academy players to the first team this season. Doing so will allow us to improve one of our youth scouts by 1 star, but failing to do so means we'll need to release 2 random youth players from the academy. Oliver Lawson looks like a star in the making, so I think we'll be halfway to achieving that before too long. We also need to score 15 goals in the championship with Josh Sargent this season if we want to avoid being forced to sell him in the summer. In terms of a financial objective, we settled on increasing the value of 3 players by 50% or more this season. Success means we can add an extra 5% to the value of our players in Buzzco's realistic selling calculator, but failure means we'll have to knock 10% off. Josh Sargent, Borja Sainz and Johnny Rowe are the obvious contenders, but Adam Ida's value is somehow up 40% already, so that will certainly help. Domestically, we need to match the likes of Leicester, Burnley and Fulham in recent years by winning at least 60% of our games. This basically means we need to win 28 out of 46, which is a tough ask, and I think if we're going to fail any of these objectives, this one is most likely. If we do fail, all new signings can't have an overall higher than 2 below our top player. So if our best player is a 76, all new signings have to be 74 or below. And finally, we want the fans to enjoy their football this season, so we'll be trying to score goals with at least 8 different midfielders or forwards in home games this season. If we manage that, we'll be able to reject all offers for the player who wins the Fans Player of the Season award come the end of the season. So I'll keep you posted on the progress of those objectives as we move through the season, but for now we have a match against Blackburn Rovers to focus on. We do have a nice long layoff ahead of the Leeds game, so we have close to our strongest 11 available and an opportunity for the entire squad to get fit ahead of those crunch games against Leeds and Burnley. Unfortunately though, despite Johnny Rowe opening the scoring within half an hour, Blackburn equalised about 15 minutes later and the points were shared at the end of the game, 1-1. So we do at least extend that unbeaten run to double digits. 10 games now unbeaten in the championship and beyond. Not quite in the way that we were hoping to though. We have a better squad than Blackburn Rovers, so 3 points would have been the target. That does bring us to our featured game of the episode against high-flying Leeds, currently sat atop the EFL Championship. They are, of course, unbeaten at this stage of the season as well, so undoubtedly Leeds United are going to be our toughest test of the season so far, especially since this game is going to be at Elland Road, which is always a difficult place to go. Leeds, of course, the team that knocked Norwich City out of the playoffs last season as well. Norwich squeaked by with a 0-0 draw at Carrow Road, but were pretty much demolished 4-0 in the away leg. Leeds haven't made too many high-profile signings this summer, with the exception of holding on to Jadon Anthony, who will start on the left, but they don't really need to have made many big signings to be a contender this season. Pirro remains up front, Jorginho Ruter behind him, Gruev, Nonto, Roberts, Ampadu, Strauch, all solid starters in a championship side. Sam Byram also starts at left back today, another former Norwich City man. As for Johannes Thorup, I think he would have liked to have started 3 at the back this week, but Grant Hanley and Shane Duffy both picked up knocks in training, so neither are available. Just 3 centre-backs available for selection in this one. Callum Chambers starts alongside Jose Cordoba. Jonathan Tompkinson takes place on the bench. Beyond that, it's a fairly familiar starting 11. Nunez and McLean the pairing in midfield. McLean with the captain's armband today. Marius Wolf and Harry Toffolo start at fullback. Fasnacht and Rowe accompany Josh Sargent up front, with Borja Sainz just behind he gets the nod ahead of Tiano Ballo. So without further ado, let's head over to Elland Road, see if we can rise to the challenge in our toughest test of this season, and see if we can avenge that 4-0 defeat in the playoffs from last season. So we are up in the commentary box at Elland Road for this one, under the lights at Elland Road too, in a midweek evening matchup. Likely going to be the featured game on Sky, I would imagine, as Josh Sargent looks to get off to the best possible start, immediately forces a save from Illan Meslier. What a start to this game. And I said in the build-up that I think Johannes Thorup would have liked to have played 3 at the back today. But potentially that's going to be a blessing in disguise that Grant Hanley and Shane Duffy are out, because it is going to force us to play on the front foot a little bit. And we have already seen that 90 seconds into the game as Josh Sargent turns the ball towards goal. Forces a relatively comfortable save from Illan Meslier, but an early sighter, an early shot across the bow really from Josh Sargent and Norwich City, as we look to put in a much better performance than we managed last time we stepped out onto the field at Elland Road. Of course, there are a number of new players in the side since then, one of whom is Jose Cordoba. We can't afford for him to have picked up a knock. He did get up relatively gingerly, but he does appear to be fine. Shane Duffy and Grant Hanley each should be available for the Burnley game. Just minor knocks picked up in training, and that's a very loose pass from Callum Chambers. Several players in the Leeds side today that we're going to have to be wary of. Willie Nonto, Jorginho Ruter, Pirot up front, Patrick Bamford coming off the bench at some point potentially as well. And of course we know this man very well, Sam Byram at left back. It's going to be Christian Fasnacht's job primarily to get at him down Leeds United's left-hand side. But by no means will it be up to Fasnacht exclusively. We do have Ballo on the bench, who could potentially come on the right-hand side. Borja Sainz maybe could shift from his more central position over to that wide right position, as some good defensive work allows Josh Sargent to lay the ball into the path of Johnny Rowe, who returns the favour by finding Josh Sargent. It's a narrow angle, and Josh Sargent, 10 minutes into the game, has forced another very good save from Illan Meslier. A very good young goalkeeper, particularly at the Championship level. Has looked a little bit shaky in the Premier League for Leeds, so we could win the header there. Not quite. Johnny Rowe finds Jose Cordoba. Marius Wolf and Kenny McLean each trying to find an opportunity to cross. Marius Wolf it was who eventually found the space to deliver. And I very much think it could be a blessing in disguise here. As I mentioned earlier, that we are playing more on the front foot. If we give Leeds the time and the space to play, they could certainly punish us. Side netting. Not sure if a handful of Leeds fans might have thought that that was in, given the sound of the net rippling. But Jason Steele had it covered at his near post. Already we have seen 12 minutes into the game, this is going to be an open and expansive affair. It's not going to be quite as tight and cagey as a number of our games this season have been. And certainly the final game in our last episode was against Sheffield United. A very tight, cagey 0-0 draw. This one is going to be much more open. And I'm not sure who that favours, to be honest. I think the neutrals would say that it favours Leeds. But I would say we've had the better of the opening exchanges here, as it is a hat-trick of saves now from Illan Meslier against Josh Sargent. Each chance has been... I mean, they would score fairly low in terms of XG. Each of those 3 chances, all of them from narrow angles. All of them saves that a goalkeeper worth his salt should comfortably make. But again, early sights of goal, early shots across the bow, an early statement of our intention in today's game at Elland Road. Slipped in behind for Marcelino Nunez, just about manages to keep it in. However, he was offside. And we've seen Johnny Rowe from those kinds of positions stealing in at the back post a number of times, and that's so tight. That would be offside according to the most up-to-date rules. But again, I rallied against it in the Everton series a number of times, and I'll do so again now. Bring back the idea of level. I like the idea of the attacker being level with the last defender, and therefore getting the benefit of the doubt. That one might have been a little more than level. Maybe even with the idea of level still in the game, that would still have been offside. Comfortable save for Jason Steele. I was worried for a second there as the ball dropped, I believe, to Jorginho in the box. And if he caught that a little more flush, could have been an issue for our new goalkeeper, who has put in some pretty impressive performances so far in the Norwich City shirt. We didn't anticipate selling Angus Gunn this summer. Well, when Celtic came in with the offer, it was too good to turn down, really. Not in terms of the monetary value necessarily. We only got 5 million for him. But in terms of the opportunity that it provides for Angus Gunn, being able to go up to Scotland, play for a team that you would have to say are favourites to win the Scottish Premier League, and who are going to be playing Champions League this football this season. But Jason Steele, very experienced, 32 years of age. He's not going to be a long-term solution at Norwich City by any means, but he has stepped up into the starting role very well. And Josh Sargent already has had 4 opportunities in this game. Barely 25 minutes in, and he's had 4 sights of goal. That one, I would say, the highest level of difficulty so far. Taking it down on his chest, a kind of athletic volley across goal. Not surprising that he didn't get that one on target. But as we have said numerous times already this season, we have to make this pressure tell. We very much did in the last episode against Watford. We were clinical with our opportunities, scoring 3 of them, but we have been less than clinical at various points this season, and the ball just wouldn't fall there. It was bouncing around. We just couldn't quite bring it under control at any point, but we had several runs rather, off the ball that were very dangerous there. The initial one, we were looking for Sargent. Then Nunez was trying to find the run of Marius Wolf in behind. We just couldn't get a clean pass off at any point. Credit goes to the Leeds United defenders for preventing us from doing so. But again, I think if we could have brought that ball under control and been able to cleanly play one of those passes through, I think it would have caused yet more issues for Leeds United. Oh, and we've given it away in a dangerous area. Marcelino Nunez. And Leeds do have the advantage. And Marius Wolf eventually hooks clear. Very well won from Johnny Rowe, but it's Josh Sargent who gives the ball away in a less than favourable position. Callum Chambers does well to hold up the Leeds United attacker, and Jason Steele does equally well to parry away at his near post. We've invited pressure from Leeds there. We did well initially to win the ball back in midfield, but we gave up possession far too easily once we did win the ball back. And we can't afford to do that on too many occasions. And that's a free header. That's a free header. And Perot opens the scoring for Leeds. Against the run of play, I would argue. I mean, we've not been dominant by any means, but I would say we've edged these opening minutes of the game, this opening half an hour. But yet again, it's our inability to defend the aerial cross. And there's 3 players around Perot there, one of whom in Kenny McLean makes a challenge for the ball. And he is beaten understandably in the air. I mean, Kenny McLean is not really a match aerially for Pirot. But Harry Toffolo at the very least was there. He could have challenged for the ball. We had another player just behind Kenny McLean who potentially could have made that a little more difficult for Pirot as well. And like in the game against Luton in the opening episode of this series, we have been beaten in the air and we have gone behind. As a result, Marius Wolf, really good ball in. Johnny Rowe at the back post wins the header. He's clattered after doing so. He's been surprisingly good in the air, Johnny Rowe. Maybe we need to put him at centre-back. He has won some headers at the back post this season that he should have no right to win. But he's not the tallest, but he is athletic, Johnny Rowe. He has some hops, that's for sure. Meslier, calm, composed at the back, plays it out to one of his defenders. Fasnacht can't quite steal the ball away. Marcelino Nunez can, though. And there's Borja Sainz. And Christian Fasnacht's run is just blocked off. There's got to be some kind of obstruction or foul in there. Because Fasnacht was trying to run in behind and the Leeds defender just did not allow him to move. So about 10 minutes to go until half-time. And then we are going to feel, I would say, slightly aggrieved if we do go in to the half-time break a goal down at Elland Road. Of course, Leeds have done this to a number of teams so far this year. Oh, but that is a foul, is it, ref? Playing advantage on that occasion. Nonto into the box. Fasnacht's back. Kenny McLean clears. Josh Sargent can't quite win the header. I think he does win a free kick, though. So about 5 minutes to grab an equaliser before half-time. So we will step up into our attacking game plan for those last 5 minutes. We don't want to put all our chips in at this still relatively early stage of the game. Because if we concede another before half-time, then we're going to make things really difficult for ourselves in the second half. But I wouldn't mind having a go at scoring an equaliser here. But Nunez again has given the ball away in a really poor position. Thankfully, Leeds don't take advantage of the opportunity. Christian Fasnacht. Marcelino Nunez lays it on to Borja Sainz, who has a chance to run at the Leeds defenders for the first time. Pulls it back to Marius Wolf. Another good save from Meslier. And neither Wolf nor McLean can make it to the rebound. We've tested Meslier on a number of times today, but really we haven't had any clear-cut opportunities. That, I would say, is our best opportunity of the game. Really well done by Borja Sainz. Josh Sargent needs to get into the box. He is at the back post. Can we find him? Borja Sainz picks out Josh Sargent and he puts it wide. I said moments ago that was our best opportunity of the game with Marius Wolf. Josh Sargent has just had an even better one. And of all the chances he's had in this first half, that is the clearest opportunity of them all. The one that you would bet on him to at least get on target. And he puts it wide. Doesn't even test Ilham Meslier. We really should be level with Leeds going into the half-time break. That's such a disappointment. And if the ball was going to fall to anybody in that kind of situation, we would have undoubtedly chosen Josh Sargent. He's our top goal scorer so far this season, with 6 goals in just 11 games. But he can't grab another there, and Jose Cordoba is just going to have to try and clear the ball away. And the referee's half-time whistle does go. Leeds have a 1-0 lead. We have 45 minutes to change that. Based on the way that that first half played out, I do fancy us to change that. I do think we've been the better side. But we're going to have to defend slightly better from set pieces and from those crosses if we're going to keep Leeds off the scoreboard for a second time. Thank you for checking out this episode of our realistic Norwich City career mode. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're approaching the end of the FC24 cycle now, but there'll be plenty more content to come with the release of FC25, including 12th man memberships. If you want to get more involved with the channel, check out the membership tiers on my homepage. Memberships start at less than £2 per month and come with a whole host of benefits and rewards, including you being able to feature in my career mode saves. We'll be starting a road to glory with a created club as soon as FC25 drops. So if you want to be included in the save or even feature in our starting 11, become a 12th man member of the channel today. 12th man members also get exclusive early access to all of my videos, not only my career mode series, but also my realistic slider sets and everything else in between. If you want more information about exactly what each tier involves, be sure to check out this video on my homepage. If memberships aren't for you, you can also join the public area of my Discord server, or just keep watching and enjoying the content for free right here on YouTube. As always, I appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Now, let's get back to the video. So no changes at halftime for either side. No change in approach coming out for the second half either. We are going to stick in our attacking game plan, at least for the first 10, maybe 15 minutes or so here in the second half. We really could do with an equaliser sooner rather than later. Really good run in behind by Johnny Rowe. Really well picked out as well. Josh Sargent at the near post. Headed away by Ethan Ampadu though. Henry McLean can't win the ball after Marcelino Nunez's attempted header loops up into the air, and we could be in trouble here because Willy Gnonto is in behind. Callum Chambers comes across, puts in an incredible block. What a block that is. A goal-saving challenge by Callum Chambers undoubtedly. Because once Willy Gnonto was away there with the ball at his feet, we were never going to catch him. Nobody in our back line has anywhere close to the pace that Willy Gnonto has. But Callum Chambers read it well, timed his tackle to perfection, and undoubtedly kept us just a single goal behind to begin this second half. Josh Sargent nods it down to Johnny Rowe. He's to wait for players to get forward in support. Does a good job of just retaining possession. And if Fasnacht can roll Sam Byram here, how's that not a foul, ref? Come on, he's all over him. He is all over him. Leeds have had favourable decisions by the referee, without doubt, so far today. But we have an opportunity to hit Leeds on a quick counter-attack here with Borja Sainz. Johnny Rowe with a good run. Borja Sainz just uses it as a distraction, as a diversion. Tries to cut inside himself. Good challenge by the Leeds defender though, and this game really has opened up to begin this second half. Both teams desperate for a goal, it seems. We're desperate for an equaliser. Leeds desperate to put the game beyond doubt. Harry Toffolo now with a really good run in behind. I think Roberts is going to get there first. And he does. Could put a bit of pressure on Leeds here though, and on the goalkeeper Ilan Meslier in particular. And Marius Wolf wins the header. Finds Borja Sainz. Josh Sargent again in the box, as is Nunez. Can Fasnacht win the header? Yes he can. Puts it across goal on 2 occasions. Bit of chaos in the penalty area. And Leeds just about clear, can they, on the 3rd attempt? No, they can't. Johnny Rowe steals it back. Josh Sargent in the box can't win the header. And it falls to Borja Sainz. The referee waves play on. And it's a poor pass by Borja Sainz. Really poor. He's not had his best performance in the number 10 role today by any means. And I think we might look to move him out to the right-hand side next time the ball goes out of play, and bring Tiano Ballo on in that number 10 role. Another good run by Johnny Rowe. Harry Toffolo in the box and can't find Fasnacht. Doesn't get the power on the cross. Fasnacht would have had a completely empty net. Would have been a guaranteed goal. I think just his 2nd of the season. Toffolo doesn't put anywhere near enough on the cross. And Ilan Meslier collects far too comfortably. Josh Sargent, a bit too much on the pass from Marcelino Nunez. It was a good run from Sargent. But again, it goes harmlessly into the arms of Illan Meslier. Harry Toffolo this time with an opportunity to cross. Players in the box here, one of whom is Marcelino Nunez, again headed clear by Leeds. We just aren't challenging Leeds enough in the penalty areas, either in ours defensively, as we saw for the goal, or in theirs. It's going to be easy for Callum Chambers to cut out. And Jason Steele just retains possession through Marius Wolf. Leeds putting on a bit of pressure high up the pitch though. And Harry Toffolo again is in behind here. Willie Gnonto is tracking back. He does sit off just a little bit though. Toffolo's going to struggle to find space to put in a cross. It does go out for a Leeds throw. Leeds are going to make a change. I think we're going to do the same. It's going to be Patrick Bamford on for Jayden Anthony. We'll see what changes Johannes Thorup has got up his sleeve. It's going to be 2 changes for Norwich City and Johannes Thorup. Kenny McLean and Christian Fasnacht to make way for Liam Gibbs and Thiano Ballo. So Ballo will play in the number 10 role. Borja Sainz will move out to the right. Johnny Rowe remains on the left. Josh Sargent, of course, remains our main striker through the middle. And he will remain our primary target. But it's Johnny Rowe who brings the ball down on the edge of the box. Really good touch. And a powerful strike towards goal. Harry Toffolo wins the header. It doesn't quite fall for Thiano Ballo. But again, we are putting some real pressure on Leeds, as we did in the first half. We desperately need that pressure to tell here in the second, though. That's a loose touch. Johnny Rowe can't quite steal in. Liam Gibbs, however, can. And we just don't have the players up in support. It's a decent enough cross from Borja Sainz. Josh Sargent manages to bring it down. Can't quite bring the ball fully under his control though, and again Leeds managed to work it clear. And again, Gnonto is away down this right hand side. Toffolo doesn't have the pace to keep up with him. Thankfully, Willie Gnonto is on his last legs, and so didn't cause us too much of an issue on that particular occasion. Nice ball from Thiano Ballo. And Borja Sainz. He spotted the run of Josh Sargent in behind. Yes, he has. Good touch. Josh Sargent hits across the goalkeeper. Again saved by Meslier. Throw at the back post. Can't put it in. No. We just needed a tap into the empty net with his right foot. He takes a touch and goes with his left. And the chance is gone. Will we come to rue that opportunity? We certainly came to rue Josh Sargent's missed opportunity by half-time. Will we come to rue that missed opportunity by the end of the game? Not if Borja... Oh, come on, referee. What can that possibly be for? What can that possibly be for? The referee has had white tinted spectacles on all game. We haven't got a single decision. Great challenge, Liam Gibbs. Go, Johnny Rowe. No, it's too late. Go, Josh Sargent. What a ball, Liam Gibbs. Weighted to perfection. Unbelievable save. Unbelievable save by Illan Meslier. And it's just not going to be our day, is it? What, Josh Sargent has, what, 6 shots on target? Illan Meslier equal to them all. That was an unbelievable save. Nunez to whip it in again. Back stick, Johnny Rowe. Illan Meslier, I hate you. I hate you. What an incredible performance. We saw a similar performance from Blackburn in the Watford game, to be fair. We still managed to put 3 past him. Johnny Rowe again at the back post. Again parried away by Meslier. Again from Cordoba's attempted cross. It's going to be another corner kick. I think we might just throw Adam Eder on, you know, get another body in the box. Another aerial threat. As Junior Firpo comes on for Leeds. So it is going to be Anamida to come on. I've brought Tiano Ballo off. I meant to bring Borja Sainz off. I've substituted Tiano Ballo when we've just brought him on. Oh, how have I done that? I swear it was Borja Sainz. Oh man, that's such a slip up. That could really cost us, because Borja Sainz is, of course, far lower in terms of stamina than Tiano Ballo. We've brought Tiano Ballo on to try and make a difference and try and grab us a goal, and we've just given him the hook for absolutely no reason. And this really could be a game where just things come back to haunt us. Johnny Rowe, can he find Adam Eder? Again, not quite. Oh my God, what do we need to do to score today? What do we need to do to score today? And again, Lee, oh, we get a decision finally. It was a decision I didn't really want. I think the ball was going to drop to a Norwich City player, and we would have had an advantage. Let's try and take advantage of Willie Nonto. He is also extremely low on stamina. Harry Toffolo, space to cross. Just charge it back post, straight into the waiting arms of Illan Meslier. And we're just going to have to go ultra attacking for these last 5+ minutes of the game, because we are, of course, desperate for an equaliser. Harry Toffolo in behind, just lofted into the box. Ethan Ampadu clears though. Borja Sainz wins the header, doesn't fall to the feet of Johnny Rowe. And Patrick Bamford has laid it into the path of Pirot. Do a decent enough job just to hold him up, but Patrick Bamford is in and secures the win for Leeds. How has this happened? How are we going to lose this game 2-0? An absolutely unbelievable performance from Illan Meslier is how. It's another cross. I mean, it's, you know, it's a Pirot header, and then it's a Patrick Bamford quick break. But Leeds wouldn't have scored this second goal if we weren't chasing the game at this stage. And really, we've kept Leeds pretty quiet going forwards. The Joel Pirot header is, you know, not exactly a signal of attacking dominance from Leeds. And as I said, Leeds would not be scoring that second goal if we had taken, you know, even one of the opportunities that we've had. But we've had, I would say, what, 3 opportunities that have been absolute clear-cut sitters that really we should be putting away. And Illan Meslier undoubtedly is going to be man of the match for Leeds, as Jorginho is away. Cordoba comes across this time to try and slow him down and try and keep the scoreline, you know, somewhat respectable. But Leeds somehow have just found a way. They've found a way to get it over the line, and that's what the best teams do. Good block. Callum Chambers, I believe. They've been second best today, without doubt. I mean, the first half was pretty even. I would say we had the better of the first half, but only just. Second half, we've been dominant. We've been absolutely dominant. We've blown Leeds away in the second half. Yet somehow they've found a way not only to hold on to their lead, but to double it. And it's going to be a really disappointing way to lose our unbeaten streak. We've extended it to double digits, but this is not the way we want to see that unbeaten streak disappear. Marcelino Nunez wide. And that's going to be it. It's going to be a goal kick from Illan Meslier. The last few seconds will tick off the clock. The referee's final whistle will blow. And we will undoubtedly slip a few places in the championship after this one. Ian Gibbs wins it back. One final opportunity potentially. But no. The referee's final whistle goes. I'll be interested to see the match facts after this one, because it really does feel like we had Leeds on the ropes for long periods in that second half. But we failed to score. And when you fail to score, obviously you're really going to struggle to win games. And Leeds just took their opportunities when they had them. Illan Meslier with an unbelievable performance. let's take a look at the match facts. Yeah, we had 14 shots. I mean, Leeds had 7. They had, I think maybe it was 5 or 6 at half-time. So we really kept them under wraps in the second half. Created enough opportunities to win. 4.2 XG. That's the story of the game right there. So a brutal result at the very least. Not a brutal performance by any means, though. We played very, very well against one of the better teams in the division. So I think we can at least take some positives from the game from a performance and a process perspective, if not a results one. We're going to have to put in a similarly good performance if we are going to come away with a victory as we host Burnley at Carrow Road. Grant Hanley does return to the back four for this one, and Ballo comes in to the starting 11 in place of Borja Sainz. The starting 11 remains unchanged beyond those 2 adjustments, however. Like we did against Leeds, we got off to a really quick start in this one. Kenny McLean driving forward from midfield, shooting from range and forcing a really decent save from the Burnley goalkeeper Muric early. Tiano Ballo as well found a bit of space on the edge of the penalty area to shoot from range. I thought this one was going to nestle just in the bottom corner. Muric was never getting to it. Unfortunately, it was pushed just slightly wide of the post. We would have a reward for our early pressure, though. Marius Wolf driving forward down the right-hand side. Josh Sargent rising up in front of the Burnley defender to head it towards the near post. And again, Muric was getting nowhere near it despite good positioning. And Sargent made it 1-0. But just before the half-time break, we absolutely capitulated defensively. We've said numerous times we've been really poor from set pieces, but this is just absolutely embarrassing. Nobody within 5 yards of the Burnley man as he heads over the outrushing Jason Steele. And just 3 minutes later, again, more awful defending as one of the Burnley players bursts through on goal. Steele makes a decent initial save, just making himself big and getting a block on it, but Foster was first to the rebound. And as if that wasn't bad enough, it got even worse just after the break. Just 2 minutes into the second half, Fofana again rose highest in the penalty area and headed home to make it 3-1 Burnley. So in about 5 minutes of game time, we went from a 1-0 lead to being 3-1 down. Even at 3-1, though, I thought we were still in the game. We were playing very well. We were creating opportunities. But again, like in the Leeds game, we had to press forward in search of a way back into the game. That just left gaps in behind. Fofana again grabbed his second, put the game beyond all doubt. So for the second time in the episode, we lose a game that really we should have been winning, at the very least coming away with a point from. These were 2 really big games against Leeds and Burnley. Could be really important ones come the end of the season. We've failed to take a point from either of them. And that does bring us to our 4th and final game of the episode against Preston North End. There's a lot more riding on this game than there seemed to be at the beginning of the episode with those 2 poor results against Leeds and Burnley. Jack Stacey comes in at right back for this one. Shane Duffy comes in at centre back. Borja Sainz returns to that number 10 position. And again, we only manage a draw. McCann scored early for Preston North End. Johnny Rowe equalised just before half-time. Josh Sargent got another goal about an hour into the game before Brown equalised 69 minutes in. So we follow up an almost perfect episode with a nightmare of an episode. Just 2 points from 4 games in the month of October. And any momentum and run of form that we had managed to build up just seems to have dissipated almost as quickly as it appeared. And we do slip out of the playoff positions to a disappointing 8th place. QPR just 2 points ahead of us. But Sheffield United, Hull City already are 5 points ahead of us, just 15 games into the season. So we're really going to have to look to turn things around in the next episode. And to be fair, we should have some decent opportunities to do so. We'll be hosting Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea City at home. And we'll be travelling to Middlesbrough and Coventry City. So we'll need Johannes Thorup to work his magic on the training ground. We need our leaders in the dressing room to step up. And we'll look to get back to winning ways in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.